Hey everybody, hope you all are having a good day, and today I wanted to see what would happen if I became the most powerful Ashen One in Dark Souls 3 by only leveling Strength and Dexterity in New Game Plus. Now to make this a little bit more interesting, I decided that I was not going to be leveling up my health or my stamina any more than what it already was. The health and stamina that I have at the beginning of this run is going to be the same health and stamina I have at the end of the run. Our journey starts at the High Wall of Lothric, where I quickly discover what happens when you try to steal something that is not yours. Well, I guess that's what I get for being a thief. Anyway, after that we talk to Emma to get the small Lothric banner, and then I pop an Ember to get ready for the first boss fight of this challenge run, Vort of the Boreal Valley. Because Vort is classified as a ghost character, he is very weak to dark damage. But since we are using the Dragon Slayer Great Axe, we are doing lightning damage. But we are doing a pretty good amount of damage per hit, so I wasn't too worried about it. We soon get Vort into a second phase, and after a few hits from my axe, our first boss goes down. I then get kidnapped by these creepy looking dudes, and they soon drop me off in the undead settlement. Things go pretty normally here. I come over here to grab an Estus shard, then we grab some umbral ashes, and then we get another undead bone shard. Now before taking on the cursed rotten great wood, I decided to do Sigurd's quest. We get the +1 life ring, and then together me and Sigurd took on this big demon boy. With the help of my weapon art and Sigurd's big sword, he finally goes down, pretty easily too. I then take a quick trip back to Firelink Shrine to pop all the souls that I've gotten along my journey, and then I upgrade my Estus flask a few times. And then I speak to the Firekeeper to upgrade my strength to 90. I was feeling pretty good at this point, and decided it was time to face the cursed rotten greatwood. Now I switched up my weapon for this fight to the Great Axe, so I can use the charcoal pine resin against this tree, as, you know, he's a tree, therefore he is weak to fire. We soon destroy the final weak point on this big ass tree, and right before he destroys the ground beneath us, I throw on some more charcoal pine resin. And to be honest, I probably made this fight a lot harder than it needed to be by only targeting the hand. Once again, I have absolutely no idea why I didn't just go for the weak point, and after missing an embarrassing amount of attacks, this tree goes down. Hell yeah. I then make a pit stop at Firelink Shrine to upgrade my strength to level 91, and then we're off to the Road of Sacrifices, one of my favorite areas in this game. We grab a Titanite shard, and then another Ember. And at this point I have two options. I can either go fight the Crystal Sage, or I can go to Faron Keep and tackle the Abyss Watchers. I wasn't ready to deal with the dumbass poison swamp just yet, so I decided to go fight the Crystal Sage. The first phase went about as usual, nothing too crazy. I was a little bit afraid for the second phase though, as because of my low stamina, and because the weapon that I was using used a lot of stamina, I was gonna have to plan my attacks and my dodges accordingly, so I wouldn't die to the Crystal Sage's clones that shot magic all over the damn place. It got a little bit dicey right here, as I was hit with the Crystal Sage's sword and some of her clones' magic. But thankfully I was able to get a few hits in on my own, which made the Crystal Sage disappear and gave me a minute to heal up. I got really lucky here and ran for the actual Crystal Sage, knocking her out with one hit. The Crystal Sage goes down on the third try. Now I was feeling pretty good about things. After upgrading our strength to level 92, it was now time for the Cathedral of the Deep. I politely asked these guys to get out of my way so I can collect an Estus shard, and then a few minutes later I collect another undead bone shard. Now I can't believe I survived this next part. You see, I had already died once before and I was just kind of beelining it over to the cathedral. However, me being stupid, I thought, hey, let me try and fight these guys. I got a few hits off, but check this out. I don't know how the hell I survived that Honestly, I probably shouldn't have, but luckily, I was able to take out all of these enemies and was able to enter the cathedral without any more trouble. Then it was time for the Deacon's boss fight. Now this fight isn't hard, it can just be a little bit annoying, but thankfully we were doing a lot of damage and I was able to one-tap most of the Deacons. When second phase hit, I threw a skull to get the enemy's attention, and then I used my weapon art against this big cluster of Deacons, and damn, it was satisfying. We did a lot of damage, but things got a little bit dicey here, and I'm honestly surprised that I survived this. But thankfully, the Deacons helped me out, and I threw another skull to draw their attention away from me. A few hits later, and the Deacons go down on the first attempt. I was feeling pretty good about this run so far. I yet again returned to Firelink Shrine, where I put all my levels into Strength. I then got the final upgrade for my Estus Flask, and it was time for Faring Keep. After about spending 20 years in the Faring Keep, it was time for the Abyss Watchers. Now I actually really enjoyed this fight, and I was excited to see how much damage I was going to do to this guy. Damn, that is good damage right there. As the chaos ensues, I was able to get another backstab off, dealing a crazy ton of damage to this guy. Plus with the charged heavy attack, first phase goes down with barely any issues. Things get a bit more hectic in phase 2, but luckily I was able to pull off another backstab. That backstab combined to my weapon art did a crap ton of damage, and soon after the Abyss Watchers is no more. Next up, it was time for the Catacombs. I'm not a huge fan of this area. I think the enemies are cool and I think it looks cool, but it can be really annoying to traverse. Here we grab the Thunder Stone Plate Ring, which increases our lightning damage resistance, and then we grab the Milk Ring, which increases our dexterity and also obscures our rolling, which is pretty cool. Before long, it was time for another boss fight, and I really enjoyed this fight actually. Being a horror fan, I think the presentation and, it being a ginormous skeleton is really cool. We also do an insane amount of damage. I was a little bit worried about his AoE attack, but thankfully, my axe being stupidly powerful, I was able to break the second bracelet really easily, and before long we only had one bracelet left to break. A few more smacks with my axe later, Wolnir goes down. We once again head back to Firelink Shrine, where we get our strength to 99. I was pretty excited about this because I've never gotten a stat maxed out before, and with strength out of the way, it was now time to focus on dexterity. We make our way over to Ithriel of the Boreal Valley, one of the coolest looking places in the game, and we quickly have a little skirmish with this doggo here, and we take him out with relative ease. Soon it was time for Pontiff. Now I actually really like this fight, but the problem is that I'm very inconsistent with him. After hitting this beautiful parry, I realized that this time it might not be too hard. Things get a little hectic here in phase 2, and I got really lucky on some dodges here. Because of the way my axe was swinging, sometimes I would duck down a little bit, causing some of the attacks to swing right over me. A few hits later, we take out Pontiff's clone, and then we take out the man himself. After getting my souls back, I make my way back to Firelink Shrine. I then upgraded the Storm Ruler to +4 so we could go fight Yorm the Giant. Now when I first fought Yorm the Giant, I was pretty scared, but knowing that the Storm Ruler did an insane amount of damage to him, this boss actually became pretty easy. A few minutes later, we get the final blow on Yorm the Giant, and just like that, we beat another boss. We put a few more levels into dexterity, and then we head over to Anor Londo to face Ultrich, the Devourer of Gods. The fact that she started out with that move is insane. My second attempt went a lot better. I started off with a weapon art and it did an insane amount of damage. During the end of the fight, I was able to get a lot of good hits in, and even though that I've been playing this build for a few hours now, I'm still really impressed about how much damage we're doing. Another hit later and Ultrich goes down. Right after the fight ends, we get teleported over to the high wall of Lothric, where we start our fight with the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Now I want to take a quick second just to really admire how awesome this boss is, in my opinion. I think everything to her armor, her swords that light up, and just like the way that she moves around, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I really like this fight. Unfortunately, this fight doesn't last for very long, and soon the Dancer goes down. Now this was the first time that I'd actually done Altridge and Dancer back to back, so I was feeling pretty good that I just took down 2 bosses back to back. After getting a few more points into Dexterity, we waste no time and we go fight Osiris, the Consumed King. Now this fight, in my opinion, is really strange. This dragon here, for those who haven't played this game, he's supposed to be holding a baby. And during the fight, you can hear him crying. But as you can see, there's no baby. So it's like, what the hell? Is he schizophrenic? Or is he, like, it's such a weird fight. Anyway, this fight isn't too hard. And because we're using a weapon that deals lightning damage, Osiris goes down pretty easily. Next up, it's Champion Gundyr. And I actually really enjoy this fight, mostly because I'm a huge parrying fan, and Gundyr can be parried. I take a few seconds to equip Lloyd's Sword Ring, and the showdown begins. I hit this beautiful parry, and because Gundyr's weak to lightning damage, we do a lot of damage. Another parry later, he goes into phase 2. Now Gundyr's a little bit more aggressive in this phase, so I knew I had to be a little bit more cautious. But caution is for cowards, and I hit this beautiful parry, and we do a lot more damage to him. Getting a parry off this guy will never not be satisfying. After we get the repost, we hit him with my weapon art, and Champion Gundyr goes down. One of my favorite fights in this game for sure. The next day we head over to Lothric Castle, where I pick up some Titanite chunks and another undead bone shard. So as you can see, we changed the weapon from the Dragon Slayer Great Axe to these swords that you get in the Ranged City DLC. And I've never used them before, and damn, they are really, really good. We collect some more Twinkling Titanite, and then we even collect another Titanite scale. Then it was time for Dragon Slayer armor. Now I actually really like this fight, but for some reason this playthrough, I've struggled a little bit. I probably took about 45 minutes trying to take this man down. I even switched around some weapons a little bit. I tried the Great Axe with the charcoal pine resin. I did a lot of things, and for some reason I couldn't get it to work. So I just decided to screw it, and I kept using these great swords. Thankfully, this weapon art did a lot of damage. I think my problem is with this fight is that I was being a little bit too overconfident in myself, because usually, even in my first playthrough, I first tried this boss. Now, to be fair, it was a very close call, but still. And I think I'm usually just a little bit too cocky when I'm fighting this guy. And I think this time, because it's New Game Plus and they have more health and they do more damage, it took me a minute to get into the swing of things. So I was a lot more patient in this fight, and I actually cut out a lot of it. But after about 45 minutes of attempts, Dragon Slayer armor goes down. We make a pit stop at Firelink Shrine where we upgrade our dexterity to level 27, and then we are off to the Grand Archives. Honestly, nothing too crazy happened here. I grabbed some more Titanite scales, and then I was able to grab myself a Titanite slab. And with that, I upgraded these swords to +5. After that, it was time to take on the Twin Princes. We switch over to the Dragon Slayer Great Axe because Lorien is weak to lightning damage. Now I'm not gonna lie, Lorien kinda kicked my ass for the first few minutes of this fight, but after I got the hang of it again, we were getting in a lot of attacks. Because Lorien was weak to lightning damage, we were able to get first phase done pretty quickly. I was a little bit worried for second phase because I usually struggle with this one a little bit more than first phase, but I was feeling pretty confident that I can take out this boss on the first attempt. Now I think it was because I was using a lightning weapon. Whenever I swung at Lorien or Lothric, I did damage to both of them, which was really good, because my main focus was Lothric, because if Lorien goes down while Lothric still has health, Lothric will revive him, so it's really important that that doesn't happen. Case in point, I knocked down Lorien first, but Lothric was still up. So thankfully, with a few hits from my axe, they both go down and we beat the second to last boss of this run. With the twin princes out of the way, we get our dexterity level to 32. And then it was time to face the final boss of this run, the Soul of Cinder. After going through my build to make sure I was ready, it was time for the final fight of this run. And just like that, the final boss of this run goes down. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this video. I find this kind of video style super fun to make. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was my first Dark Souls 3, I wouldn't really call it a challenge run, but it was my first, challenge-ish run that I did, and I really enjoyed it. I already have plans for a Sekiro challenge run that's actually going to be a challenge, and maybe I'll do some more Dark Souls 3, I don't know. But yeah, hey, thanks a lot for checking this out if you've made it this far. Really appreciate you, and hope you enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it. And stay tuned for whatever comes next. I hope you all have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whenever the hell you're watching this, and yeah, thank you.